Hey y'all, this is Megan. I'm the careers editor at theflightattendantlife.com, and so this video is all about, so you want to be a flight attendant and where should you apply? So you've decided that you want to become a flight attendant and now you need to figure out where to start. I'm making this video because when I began my airline career, I really didn't understand the different types of airlines that are out there, and I had no idea how many there were. I would like to preface this by saying that this list of airlines is for individuals interested in becoming flight attendants in the US. So if you're watching from a different country, I'm sorry, this probably won't really pertain to you, but it might if you want to become a flight attendant in the US. Okay, so, and I apologize if I've left out any big names. I've tried to make it as comprehensive as possible. And all of the airlines I'm about to list are in alphabetical order, no special order whatsoever. So, I would say there are four categories of airline carriers. So the first one is legacy carriers, the second one is majors, the third is low cost, and then the last but not least are the regional airlines. So what are all these categories and what airlines fall into these categories, you might be wondering. So the first category is legacy carriers. These are the carriers that usually come to the forefront of your mind when you think of airlines. This category has become quite condensed in the past few years, and now I would say there are only three big names left in this category in the US. So the first one being American Airlines, the second one being Delta Airlines, and the third one being United Airlines. So those are the three carriers that I would say are the three legacy carriers left in that category. The next category are the major carriers. What are major carriers and how did I come up with this category? So major carriers, I would say, are airlines that operate mainline aircraft but do not necessarily have the name or the history associated with a legacy carrier quite yet. So I would say this category also has three airlines in it as well. Those would be Alaska Airlines, Hawaiian Airlines, and Virgin America. The third category is low-cost carriers. What are low-cost carriers? This is kind of an obvious one, I think. Low-cost carriers also operate mainline aircraft, but for a lower fare to, to combat those high costs that legacy carriers might sometimes have. So low-cost carriers, I would say, are Allegiant, Frontier, JetBlue, Norwegian Air Shuttle, People Express, Southwest, Spirit, and Sun Country Airlines. And last but not least, the regional airlines. What are the regionals? So regionals are airlines that operate smaller aircraft that only seat up to 100 passengers. These airlines operate shorter routes and typically under the brand name of a bigger carrier. So, when you see Delta Connection carriers or United Express or American Eagle, those are regional airlines that operate under the name brand of a bigger airline. These airlines typically only have one or two flight attendants, and I personally am a regional flight attendant right now, so I am a regional girl at heart and first and foremost, so there are a bunch of regional carriers for you to choose from. Regionals are Air Wisconsin Airlines, Chautauqua, Commute Air, Compass, Endeavor, Envoy, ExpressJet, GoJet, Horizon, Mesa, Penn Air, Piedmont, PSA, Republic, Shuttle America, SkyWest, and Trans-States Airlines. Okay, so those are all the regional carriers. And now that I've overwhelmed you with the number of airlines that are out there, how should you start applying? So most flight attendant hopefuls usually just think to only apply to legacy carriers, but I encourage a different thought process for flight attendant hopefuls. I think and once you become a crew member, you really understand the importance of this. I think that base options are probably the most important thing in your flight attendant career. There's something to be said about being based at home and living having the airport that you're based at being near your home. So for example, I would say you're from Boston. and you do not foresee yourself, for whatever reason, leaving the Boston area anytime soon, say family, say you have children, you have a dog that you don't feel like moving from Boston, whatever it may be, I would do some research and find out what airlines operate bases out of the Boston Logan International Airport, and I would start applying to those first and foremost. So, like I said, being based near home, there's something great to be said about it. And commuting, I know you're thinking, well, a lot of crew members commute. Well, let me tell you, there's a big difference in quality of life from a crew member that commutes versus a crew member that lives in base. So ask anybody, even ask Kara at theflightattendantlife.com. Commuting is absolutely awful, and I do not recommend it to anyone. So another example being, like, for myself personally, I am from the Southeast and I have a very strong tie to this side of the country. So personally, I would probably not find myself applying to work at Alaska Airlines or Hawaiian Airlines anytime soon. Even though they are well-respected, reputable airlines that tons of people are so happy to work for, I personally probably wouldn't do it just because they are strictly West Coast-based airlines and I'm an East Coast girl, so that's kind of how it goes. So I also highly recommend applying to a wide range of carriers, not just the legacy carriers, because they are extremely, extremely competitive, and they may take a long time it may take you a long time to get hired by one. You can even go the route that I'm going. I've been with my regional carrier for about a year now, and in a couple months I'm going to a legacy. So, you know, start small to go big, get your foot in the door. That's how I did it. That was my way of enhancing my flight attendant career. So, those are the different airlines. That's how I would recommend applying to them. And yeah, so follow Kara along at theflightattendantlife.com and her Instagram at the FA Life, and follow me on Instagram at flywithmegan. All right, good luck.